I don't know that any of us, and I don't know if I should speak for my guys or not, but I don't know if any of us would be where we are without, having some sort of guidance. So I do think.
Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Danielle. I am the CEO and co-founder of the Connect organization. Today, we are bringing you a special chat with a sneak peek behind the scenes with the Black sports professionals in the DC chapter here. Joining me, we got BSPDC President Mikhail Allen. And then, of course, on the Education Committee, we have Walter Chugwe and also Jana Brooks. How are you guys doing today?
Great.
Well, how are you?
All right, thank you guys for connecting with me today here. We're going to kick things off here. We have a little foul or no foul gameplay. I'm just going to need your guys' opinion, your insights on what you think is going on. If you agree with that topic, if you disagree with that topic here, we're just going to call it a foul or no foul. Here we go. You guys ready?
Yes, let's do it.
First topic, elite superstars playing in the Pro-Am summer leagues like the Drew League and the one we just previously saw LeBron play in. Foul or no foul on the player side?
No foul. At least I don't think so. I'm always going to err on the side of the player. So for me, it's a no foul. Like at the end of the day, they're competitors. They love to compete, and it's a sport that they love to play. So regardless of where it is, when it is, if they want to lace up and hoop up, they're going to do it. So I don't see that as a foul at all.
What do you guys think?
I'll echo the fan sentiment as Mikhail. I think adding on to that, the opportunity for kids who don't have the ability to afford tickets to these regular season games, they get to see their favorite players come out to their city and play. So I think it's a really cool thing. So no foul.
And I echo my friends. But also, as my organization's a landlord for a couple of stadiums, so knowing that players are out, even if it's a sport that they love. Now, again, I do agree with my guys, but devil's advocate, you have money running around, playing basketball when they should be, I don't know, running drills in football or whatever the situation may be. So it's kind of like, you kind of bite your nails, like hoping that they'll come back healthy to their main sport and their main team. But yeah, I don't see a foul either.
Okay.
Personally.
I, for the longest time, was on the foul side, just a little quick to be honest there. But Walter changed my mind. You changed my mind there, Walter, because kids who can't afford to go see them in person, that was the mind change there for me. So I guess I'll go with no foul for now.
Good job, Walt.
All right. Second question we have here: outlandish locker rooms such as LSU or the Florida Gators for college players. Foul or no foul? We'll kick it back off with Jenna, since you started the last time.
Well, I'm making faces because I don't think I know anything about what is happening here. I'm very not in tune to college sports. So what's a quick synopsis of what I'm missing?
Quick synopsis: these big college football teams. Go ahead, Mikhail. You can take it over.
Well, I'll just mention a smaller one, Jacksonville State, but the bigger ones, like I think Florida just redid their entire locker room and I guess athletic facilities or whatnot. And I mean, it's like a professional sports team, facilities. But at the end of the day, these big colleges are bringing in a lot of revenue sources for. These football programs and sport programs are bringing in a lot of revenue for these college programs in order to do that. So, I mean, I think that the athletes deserve it. They deserve that type of treatment, especially for what they're bringing to the university. So I would say no foul on that at all.
Yeah, I think I'll take the same stance as well. I actually follow a page on Instagram called The Tourist, and it usually just depicts a lot of updated locker rooms and like just design renderings, anything like that colleges or the professional teams are doing. So I think from a college standpoint, it's pretty cool to see how they're kind of upgrading their facilities for their players because, like Mikhail mentioned, they're almost at that pro level, and then now with NIL, they're getting that money too. So you can kind of put them in that perspective where they're comfortable. It'd be nice.
Yeah. I mean, as a former student athlete, I wish that coming from an HBCU that we did have that type of budget to make those upgrades and to have those type of elite level resources as relates to just the facilities and things that these bigger schools have. So yeah, no, but we're definitely trending in the right direction though, especially with NIL in the fall.
Now you brought in NIL, that brings in like a whole different.
Oh yeah, it definitely does. I didn't mean to, but just just in the grand scheme of things.
All right, and then are you agreeing with the guys here, or are you going to take a different stance on it?
Chances are I'm not going to disagree with my guys, so I will say no foul, simply because this is a topic that I blow little to nothing about.
Yeah.
And for their reasons and the fact that they were athletes, I was not. I only locker room I go in is the ones here, so I'll agree with my guys again. I'll agree with my guys.
All right. And then last foul or no foul. I think you guys might all know about, have an opinion on this one. Lamar Jackson and his contract still not getting done yet. Foul or no foul? And then bonus, foul on the Ravens or foul on Lamar?
Can I plead the fifth because I work? I'm landlord at M&T.
Well, yeah, you can take the fifth. You can take the
okay,
fifth.
Thanks. I don't want to go on record saying. Well,
oh yeah, of course. I completely understand. We'll do voice changeover for you.
Okay. Ultimately, I do want my man signed. I do want him to get, his just deserves, like what he deserves. But I can neither confirm nor deny if it is a foul or not on the Baltimore Ravens.
Good answer. Good PC answer there.
Thank you.
Well, I'll let you go since I've been jumping in.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I think it's cool that Lamar is taking a stance to represent himself. I think you don't see many Black athletes who are in that position to be able to work for themselves and not have to give off a huge commission or percentage to an agent. But at the same time, I'd say foul on the Ravens if I had to pick a side, because if this is your guy going forward, then you should be doing everything that you can to close this deal.
Fair.
Yeah. And again, for me, working with athletes, I always, err on the side of the athlete, and it's no foul on Lamar's part for him to advocate on his behalf to get paid what he deserves over this next several years of his life and of his career. So, I think that all players should fight to get paid what they deserve, especially because the sport is so volatile. And you don't know, you got to play all those downs, and you don't know, what to expect after each down just because of how, volatile the sport is. So, I think, it's no foul on Lamar's part for, pushing to, get what he deserves. And I don't think is any foul on the Ravens part, because at the end of the day, they're a business and their job is to operate as such. And, I understand their perspective and where they're coming from. So yeah, I don't think it's a foul on any part. It's just letting, this process take its course with just coming to, terms on, what Lamar wants and what the team wants, and just coming to a compromise with those things. So
yeah, spoken like person who might have been in HR at one point. Seeing both sides of it there.
Mhm.
All right, but enough of the foul or no foul. Let's connect a little bit further here. When I think about the education committee and one of your biggest roles of what you guys are doing, a lot of it I think about is building that community with the college students there. So talk to me about the importance of building a generational community with these students and really educating them and getting them resources and networks so early on in their careers. Walt, you want to take this one first?
Sure. As I'm still kind of living that college student realm. I graduated from undergrad in spring of 21, and I'm a grad student now. So I think just getting into BSP early, I was able to kind of give that perspective of what college students are facing, especially within that era of 2020 and beyond. So just being able to kind of bridge that gap between offering resources through a digital landscape as well, like just connecting professionals to students and just offering that kind of connection and knowledge so that they can have opportunities after college. So I think BSP does a great job of doing that, even with some upcoming series that we have connecting with some of our HBCUs in the area as well. And just kind of creating a pipeline for college students to get this information that they otherwise wouldn't at the university.
I don't want to step on Mikhail's toes, but just to piggyback on what Walter said, like when I was in school, I didn't know that sports management was a thing. So to have the exposure, to have the an inside track, to have the accessibility to professionals in that realm that showed me that being a Black professional can be more than that athlete, or you know what I mean, to know that, oh wait, there are GMs of buildings and directors of ticketing or whatever positions. I didn't know that sports business was a major or something that I could follow a path for. So I piggyback with everything that Walt said. Like it gives the access, and BSP is where it is.
And just following up on what Walt and Jana said, I think that's the common theme right there, Danielle, is the fact that people, whether you're a student athlete, you're a student, you're a professional, who aspire to work in sports, don't know of all the opportunities out there. So, myself, for example, when I was in college, my freshman year, I played football. And I tried to apply to an internship at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, because I was a student athlete, it was a conflict of interest for me to intern for a sports organization. So I had to find another means to get just business or internship experience until I graduated from college. And then when I graduated from college and started actually pursuing a career in the sports industry, I realized how hard it was because I didn't have any connections or know people, or just know the inner workings of the sports industry. So I think for us with the education committee, it is to Walt's point, is establishing a pipeline where not only college students but young professionals who aspire to work in sports can seek those opportunities through the programs that we create, through the initiatives that we support, through the events and the events that we host throughout the course of the year. And then for people who are already in the sports industry to be able to network up and down, and because those lead to opportunities to advance their careers. So it's really, for us from an education standpoint, is creating those programs, establishing those programs and initiatives that help support students and young professionals who aspire to work in sports, help support them from a resource standpoint, whether it's professional development opportunities or just connections and networking, and that comes from the different events that we host. So we essentially, for us, that's our main goal, is just trying to establish that pipeline for those students and professionals who aspire to work in our industry.
Yeah, and then just to kind of piggyback off that question, Jana, mentorship. How important is it for the education committee and the mentorship that you guys are doing to bring into those kids so that they have someone who's already established, or even just getting established in the sports and entertainment industry here, to link up with a student to educate them essentially on the inner workings of how a company goes?
Ultimately, that cliche, it's not always what you know, it's who you know. Mentorship, whether it is indeed a situation where it's, hey, I can connect you with XYZ person for interview or for a position, or mentorship with respect to, hey, let me, help you adjust your resume. Hey, this is how you should present yourself when you go to work every day, or whatever level you're on. I definitely wholeheartedly agree to and agree with mentorship. I don't know that any of us, and I don't know if I should speak for my guys or not, but I don't know if any of us would be where we are without, having some sort of guidance. So I do think it's absolutely pivotal in professional world, flat out, or just in sports. It's absolutely mandatory to have someone that can assist you in your path.
Agreed. I definitely agree with that for sure. I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for receiving mentorship and then also continue to give it as well. That's why, one of the initiatives behind mentorship was partnering with Lattice. They are a virtual mentoring solution. So during COVID, obviously it was hard to connect with people in person, but still have that same impact of helping others who aspire to work in sports, who aspire to grow their career in the sports industry. So we had to figure out a way of how to connect with these people, these college students and these young professionals. And one of the ways was partnering with Lattice, their virtual mentoring solution, to essentially connect college students and young professionals with executives who already work in the sports industry. So, with our BSP membership base, we have a pipeline and connections to the top minority executives all across the country. And we were able to leverage that pipeline to be able to connect them to students who want to, or students who are young professionals who want to work in the sports industry in a virtual world. So, connecting those students with those professionals virtually to be able to receive mentorship across a number of different topics at the students' disposal, whether you want to receive mentorship in just how you go about interviewing or putting together your resume, whatever it is. We had mentors that filled those voids and mentoring students and answering whatever questions they had.
Yeah, I think it's always important to know that mentorship isn't just a one-way mentorship. It's not all about just getting the job interview for that person there. And I think, Jenna, you spoke on that really well, how you separated from this type of mentorship that you're getting and that type of mentorship, and how that's an overall building of mentorship. Realistically, it doesn't look just one way there. So I think that was really important there. And so thank you for sharing that for sure.
No, absolutely. And just before you go on to the next question, just to further go down the road of what you just described, even for me, there are things, I've had interns here where I think I'm mentoring them, but they teach me something that completely blows my mind, and then I'm able to move forward with that. Whether it's in my office or sharing with the organization I'm involved in, whichever. But yeah, I do think it definitely goes both ways when it comes to mentorship. A lot of times, sometimes.
Yeah, it definitely could be that two-way street there for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So going off, just building a big topic of this conversation here is that building the relationships, community, networking. Talk to me a little bit about what a successful component that is when you're building these college relationships. What does that look like from a education committee standpoint?
For sure, for sure. Well, I think first, and we can give you a real live example just with university that we're working with now. But first it started with just trying to spread awareness about BSP, the programs that we offer, the initiatives that we're involved in, and just what we do and how we can help the students at your college. So it was spreading awareness about that message, and we did that with all the colleges in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. And then from there, it was essentially furthering on that, the colleges who wanted to partner to bring some type of program into their school. And then from there, once we'd identify those schools, we then started to build a relationship with those schools and really just fact find and try to find out what their goals are from a community perspective, or what their goals are is to help their students or student athletes, whether just in the sports and career opportunity space. So once we did that, from there it was just aligning what our objectives are, and then building out programming from there. So I'll let Walk speak to this, but we started working with Coppin State. And with Coppin State, we went through several different variations of different types of events or initiatives that we can do. And obviously working through the logistics with timing and scheduling and stuff, we were able to come to terms on an event that we're looking to do this upcoming fall. So this will be our first ever event that we're doing with an HBCU in the DMV, Coppin State. So we're pretty excited about that. But essentially, that's how it started out with the colleges, working with the colleges in the DMV. But I'll let you speak to the really the scope of Coppin State and how we built out the event that we're about to host this upcoming fall.
Sure. And I think Mikhail outlined it perfectly. I think just taking it a little further, what we kind of looked at with working with Coppin State is kind of the makeup of the students at Coppin, right? So within the contact that we were speaking to, we wanted to know exactly what the Coppin State University students were looking for within the sports management department. What are some of their interests, career objectives that they're looking to go after, and then just kind of aligning our members with those interests as well. So we brought in a couple of our members within BSPDC, and are going to come in for this upcoming event in the fall and build these connections with these students and kind of help them get a holistic understanding of the types of industries that they're trying to get themselves into. So, like Mikhail mentioned, this event will be happening this upcoming fall, and we're excited personally about kind of what it's looking like, and all the information that's going to be able to generate from it, and even our professionals as well, being able to connect with some of these students and getting early access to some of our future leaders, as we like to call it. So that can be opportunities for internships down the line, connections down the line, and just an opportunity for mentorship as well. So overall, we're excited about it.
Yeah, and then Walt, with you getting ready to graduate from grad school and then a recent grad from undergrad, do you feel like you bring a bigger perspective, not bigger, but a different perspective from your counterparts here, knowing that you know exactly what the college students are looking for? Because just a year or two ago, you were exactly in their shoes. So do you feel you're able to bring in a different perspective being on the committee?
I definitely do. I think we balance each other out really well. Mikhail and Janet can tell you, we've been on calls so many times, or like, hey, what do we think about this date for this event, or how do we think students are going to respond to this? So it's kind of a balancing act, kind of bouncing ideas off of each other and seeing how the current landscape of students would react to certain things. And there's a perspective that I bring that helps, and there's a perspective that they bring from their own experiences that help as well. So I think the ability to work together and kind of bring these events to life is great.
Yeah. And then Jenna, where does this passion stem from when it comes to, combining the business of sports, sports and entertainment in general, and then what you guys are doing with the education committee and really working with these minority youth in a nonprofit space?
Oh my, that's a really good question. That's a really deep question that I don't think I've ever thought of an answer to. Wow, yeah, that's really deep. Okay, so
that question actually takes me back to my sports and society class in my master's program, because it really is like what we're doing in the nonprofit space with BSP is bridging sports and community. And that's literally what we're doing. And I think with that, in the grand scheme of things, we're connecting people to resources. We're connecting these students, we're connecting young professionals to resources that help them achieve their dreams. Those dreams specifically in a career in the sports industry. So I think that with sports and education and the business behind it all, is number one, those resources mean knowledge, and knowledge is education, and education is helping them understand opportunities that's in sports and then what each of those opportunities entail, in the business behind it and how the business behind sports impacts your future opportunities for you. So understanding that helps you navigate your career even better, because now you understand and have a pulse on the full scope of the industry. So that's my take on it. But that question definitely took me back to my sport and society class, my master's program.
I didn't take that class, but what he said.
We'll just add one on top of what Mikhail said there.
That was a really deep question. I don't think I've ever really looked at it that way. That was an excellent question. I'll chew on that one.
Thank you.
That's food for thought for sure.
Yeah.
Walt, I'll bring that question to you. I think, you probably have a really unique perspective on that.
Yeah, I mean, as Mikhail kind of tied it up, I think connecting students to resources. Like I mentioned, I was a student in undergrad about a year ago. And, you know, I think every university has a different variation of what they determine as sports management, as far as like what the curriculum may be, as far as like what the alumni may bring to the school. And even an example I want to use at Towson, we didn't have uh, kind of a robust alumni program coming from sports management, like your typical University of Michigan or like Georgetown or anything like that. So creating these connections with schools like that, or even building out programs where you can kind of bring our alumni back in and be able to offer resources and mentorship and information in general to students would be great. So just kind of offering those resources to students and giving them the opportunity to kind of pass that back down to students that are going to come behind them as well.
All right. And then a typical question that when we have these chats, I always kind of like to ask, and since we're the education committee, I'll switch it up a little bit. And I guess call it, not use the profanity that we usually do. So we'll call it like the ish you wish you knew instead of what we typically call the question there. Since you guys are part of the education committee, what is one piece of advice you would like to share with the students that you wish someone told you when you were in college or getting into the industry? We'll go. Who wants to go first in this one? I'll let you guys go.
Since I flunked the last question, I'll go first. For me, it was about joining organizations that fostered my interest. Again, I didn't know that sports business, management, marketing, all of those were majors. Sports was always an interest of mine, even though I never played them. When I did in gym class, I sucked, but I passed, so whatever. But for me, the capitalizing off of my student status and joining organizations to begin to build my network was something that was never really impressed upon me. And so that for me was the biggest ticket. It's not just, LinkedIn stalking somebody and, asking for information or interview. It's actually having the mentorship or having, resources that Michaela and Walter were talking about, having that within an organization such as Black Sports Professionals. That was something that I definitely wholeheartedly pass on to any student that I speak with.
Yeah, I want to take Jana's point a little further. I definitely say join the organization, but to take it a little further, actually getting involved in a much higher capacity when you join these organizations as well. One thing that I think as students sometimes we don't really think about is when we join an organization, just to say that we're in the organization, but we will actually put any work behind it to actually make the organization go further, right? So one thing I've realized, through mentorship with these guys on the call right now and others as well, sometimes your work speaks louder than, you're just reaching out or trying to get a phone call or just trying to speak to someone, right? If you can build up that portfolio of the work that you've done within the organization, the people that you've helped within that organization as well, these are people that you're coming in contact with every day, so they'll just know you from your work. So when you join the organization, make sure that you're actually putting work to further the organization as well.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with both Jana and Walt. For me, I think it was having access to resources and just for me coming to the sports industry, really not knowing where to go or who to go to essentially help me further my career. So I think for us, it's providing those opportunities. When I look back over the past year and a half since I've been president, we've done a lot to be able to bring these opportunities to, not only college students, but high school students as well. With my college perspective, working with all the colleges and, whether it's HBCU or non-HBCU in the DMV, working with philanthropic organizations like the Hustlers Guild, whose main focus is high school students in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. I think we did a youth voting initiative with them We did a Beyond Your Block campaign with them as well, focused on just exposing inner city youth to opportunities outside of their neighborhoods. And we partnered with Special Olympics DC to provide volunteer opportunities to the members and our membership base, which are comprised of students, student athletes, professionals, young professionals, from C-suite to entry level. We put together a sports business and networking conference to expose, again, college students and high school students and young professionals to opportunities in sports. We have a sports business internship program to provide nonprofit and corporate experience in the sports industry to college students. We have the mentoring cohort. So I list all those things because that type of programming and those type of initiatives are what are the steps we're taking to be able to bridge the gap. And essentially for us, those things that we wish we would have knew, now take that and move it forward, providing those things to the next generation so that they don't have to wish they had those things. They already have them because we provided them. And to Walter's point of just the work, this is the work that you do, behind the scenes. Don't just join the organization, but if you're going to join the organization, actually do the work to make an impact from a macro perspective. I think that's really the core of BSP is that, for us, it was taking our passion for sports and business behind it and bridging that with the community and making an impact, whether it's with high school students, college students, or just people in general.
Yeah, that well said, definitely, for sure. And finally, a last question. What can we expect to see next from the Education Committee, and how can other BSP DC members get involved?
Nice. I'll let Walter and Jana go before I jump in.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of them that we already mentioned, but we have our sports business seminar coming up with Coppin State this upcoming fall. Working on putting together an NIL seminar for current student athletes and just college students who are interested in learning more about it. And not only them, but agents, people within the sports industry. I know NIL is a pretty tricky thing to understand within the sports landscape right now. So putting that out for people to get a better understanding. We'll be partnering with a local sports agency in the area as well. A couple other things. Working to bring back a couple of our current programs that we held within the past few years. So got a lot of work going on behind the scenes to kind of bring more events to the local DC area. Also coming off the pandemic, trying to do a lot more in-person events too. So all that work is coming up soon.
I don't know which direction to go in with that. I think that Walt's answer was great, but also do something as simple as signing up for our email blasts and making sure that you're following us on social so you see when opportunities arise, or you see the types of things that we post and promote, and maybe it is something that you can get involved in. Maybe it's something you didn't realize that we did. Maybe it's something additional that you think you can bring to the table. But yeah, definitely, get involved in that granular level as well, and make sure that you are in tune with when initiatives roll out.
Yeah, I think that well said on both of you guys, and I think as we move forward as an education committee, our goal with this thing is just to scale it at this point. And when I say scale, I mean scale is in grow grow our current programs that we have, and then continue to build out the relationships and the partnerships we have with the colleges working on with right now, and just continue to scale those different programs and initiatives that we're working on, and grow it. And on the back end, grow the amount of people we do have getting involved. To Jana's point, we want more people to get involved with education so that we can do more, so with more people and more involvement and more engagement, we could do more and scale even higher with the colleges we're working with the charitable organizations we're working with the different initiatives that we have going on. So yeah, I think that's our overall objective.
Yeah, and just part B of the last question here. If a college wants to get involved with you all, how can they go about connecting with you guys? What's the best way to go ahead and do that? Or even a
Oh,
high school or a different or a youth organization there as well.
got you. So they would want to email us at bspwdc@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at BSP_DC, as well as on LinkedIn, Black Sports Professionals DC chapter. We post all our updates there. You can also visit our website, blacksportsprofessionals.com. And we also have a Linktree account. If you click on our Linktree, which is on our social platforms, you will access our newsletter subscription. So if you click on that, you can subscribe to become a member and receive all of our email updates and comms updates.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys for connecting with me today. It was great hearing firsthand what you guys are doing, the education committee, and all the hard work that you all are putting into it here. Like Mikhail said, if you guys want to get involved with the education committee with BSPDC, make sure to give them a follow on IG. Reach out to the email. We're going to put that at the bottom of the screen for you guys, all their social handles. So there's no excuse why you guys cannot be reaching out to them. And then, of course, don't forget to follow the Connect on IG and LinkedIn as well. We're engaged with more minorities in the sports and entertainment industry, so definitely stay tuned for more to come. Let's connect soon, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.